Hello, everybody, and welcome to Turn 1. I'm Sean Fitz alongside Kevin England. Tonight, the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series heads to California and Auto Club, a fantastic racetrack out on the West Coast where we're going to see a lot of 3 and 4 wide racing, multi-groove at its finest. And Kevin, they're getting ready to roll off the grid here. It's going to be a good night.
Auto Club Speedway, a 2-mile oval with fast sweeping turns, lots of draft, bumpy. And I'll tell you what, every driver kind of loves this racetrack because of how racy it is. It's almost like a super speedway on a 2-mile. And we look at field roll off here. Obviously, this track no longer exists. They tore it down, but from a nostalgia standpoint, the Cooks Landscape Cup Series coming here to California one more time. Going to feel the sun and see the lovely California sky as we do 101 laps of action here tonight at Auto Club Speedway.
Justin Fuller, Joe Hudson, EJ O'Rourke, Anthony Calatoni, Wesley Donaldson make up your top 5. Then it's Thomas George, Brian Macklin, Bentley Glaser, Tyler Dalton, Glenn Campbell, David Schildhouse is going to start 11th. Troy Haight, Nelson Rivera, Jason Carlavage, and Jose Gonzalez make up your top 15.
Field rolls through turn number 4, getting ready for the restart here. One car starting from pit road, the 95, after missing qualifying. Also 04 opting to start there. A couple of cars starting out back after getting an end of longest line penalty as we come across the stripe, getting ready for action here. We're green at Auto Club Speedway.
Rolling for the first time tonight, down into the restart zone, and they're seeing the green flag tonight for the first time. And Justin Fuller out front, side by side. Joe Hudson, EJ O'Rourke, a really solid qualifying effort out of this group as they fan out 2 and 3 wide down through 1 and 2 for the first time here tonight. Kevin, it's going to take a little bit for these cars to get up to speed, but you're going to see a lot of this, a lot of 2, 3, 4 wide different angles throughout the entire evening here at Auto Club.
Yeah, we'll see drivers hunt down there on the white line. We'll see drivers up 3, 4 lanes up. We'll see some riding the fence there as we watch the 6 of Thomas George. Good start for him. He's able to jump into that 4th position. This is a tricky thing coming down what is not a straightaway, a curved front straightaway here at Auto Club. You pull out and try to pass. A lot of times it's like pulling a parachute. It's really a good idea to tuck in behind the car behind you or in front of you and just run that car up off the corner and try to make a pass as you exit. And we still see cars 2 and 3 wide jockeying for position out in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, coming down the backstretch here, firmly up to speed. And you mentioned that it kind of feels like a parachute out back at times. Well, Joe Hudson felt that. He went from that top 2 spot all the way to 10th there in about a lap and a half. Meanwhile, Justin Fuller now starting to feel some pressure from EJ O'Rourke. They're side by side. This is going to be for the lead change here on lap number 3. O'Rourke driving off into 1 and 2 on the high line here. And I would call that the momentum line. And we've talked about these cars, how aero dependent they are. You've got to go where somebody isn't for that clean air factor. And O'Rourke makes that pass free and clean around the 51 to Justin Fuller.
EJ O'Rourke, no stranger to the high side, and he is making it work here early on at Auto Club. Also making it work is the number 91, Wesley Donaldson. Drives around Fuller for second, and he starts hunting down the leader here as O'Rourke, trying to break the draft, goes down to the bottom of the racetrack, crosses the stripe to complete lap number 4, and it is now Wesley Donaldson on the hunt for the lead.
Yeah, Wesley Donaldson last time by put the fastest lap in of the race so far here tonight. Really quick. A driver, Kevin, I think is deserving of a decent finish. We have seen him have flashes of speed, I don't know, for the last month and a half, and he's just not found the finish in that 91 car. I think he feels like he is owed. I suspect he is going to be high on the wheel here tonight.
Yeah, a couple drivers hungry for a win sitting right back there in the middle of the top 5. You're looking at Anthony Calatoni, who had one slip away earlier this year, deserves to get another one, and has a strong car here tonight. One thing I can't help but notice as these cars go around this racetrack is how bumpy the surface is. Maybe it doesn't show up that much on the camera shots, but especially going down the back straightaway, entry into turn number 3. racetrack has a lot of whoop-de-doos back there as the cars focus through the bumps about middle of the straightaway into the turn. And drivers do feel that as they're trying to get the car to settle to go in entry of turn 3.
Yeah, riding on board the 84 Talking Giant Chevrolet of Anthony Calazzoni, and you see those bumps. This is a very aged track, and they certainly feel that bumpiness, the seams, all the extra patches, as caution's going to be out here on the racetrack for the first time tonight. Here on lap number 6, looks like Doug Sigmund and a couple others getting involved there, and they've already come down pit road. And this is going to be the first caution of the night. Here at Auto Club, we're going to step aside. You're watching turn 1. They get them re-racked, ready to go back. Green flag racing here at Auto Club. The pace car is headed down pit road. EJ O'Rourke, Justin Fuller, your front row. Donaldson, George, and Glaser, your top 5. Into the restart zone, back racing here at Auto Club. Side by side, 3 wide as they come to the line. That is back there with Joe Hudson and crew mixing it up here as they were coming to the start-finish line. Kevin, I think the wick is turned up on a couple of these drivers here out west.
Yeah, certainly you have to make hay while the sun is shining. For some of these drivers, these restarts mean you can get a run, and if you come through the gear a little bit better than the car in front of you, certainly plenty of room to reach out and find your own lane here as we see them 2 and 3 wide through it. And I just have to say again, as you watch these cars stand out coming through the corner, just amazing the diversity in lanes that people are choosing. Sometimes they're choosing a lane because they like that lane, and other times they choose that lane because they don't want to follow the car in front of them going through the corner. They'd love to have some air on the front end of the car to plant the nose. And so you'll see these drivers fanning out to different lanes all night long.
Yeah, on top of needing to go someplace that nobody else is, and that's Justin Fuller tucking in right behind the 41 of O'Rourke, who's leading here. It is very much a story of driver preference. This is a fixed setup league. These setups are not the iRacing defaults, but certainly a lot of talent behind the wheel, because that's what the difference maker can be. You've got to be smart with it. You've got to make it make sense for you and everybody around you in the car. So there is no setup. There's no crutches you're leaning against there. You are all in on the same setup. It's all about how you can drive the track differently, and that is certainly a compounding piece of that as they are all fanning out. Bottom, top, middle, 2, 3 wide, riding seams, not riding a seam, and we got a car going around on the backstretch. That looked like that was Glenn Campbell. He's going to spin out. Coming off of 2, and unfortunately, that is going to bring out another caution, I do believe, here. Okay, I need to go back and do that. That didn't break.
No, they stayed green through that, and the trans-service car for Glenn Campbell was able to pick up the throttle, drive off. He went off the bottom of the racetrack, and from that standpoint, nobody near him to trigger the caution. So we stay green here at Auto Club. As I'm really impressed with the 41 of EJ O'Rourke and his ability to stay out front here. He's really using the high line to his advantage.
He certainly is. O'Rourke out front and riding up against that wall. Fuller's dipping down the bottom, taking the short way around 3 and 4, 1 and 2 here, but then sweeping back up, driving up and off the corner, looking for as much RPM as he could get in that 51 Cooks Landscape Group car, and tried to find a little bit of pace, but so far is EJ O'Rourke to the point and looking pretty decent. Looking back here a little further, again, a decent night for Thomas George. He's sitting 4th right now. Anthony Calazzoni sitting 5th. And Bentley Glaser, he's starting to feel some pressure back behind him. That is Jason Carlavage, Brian Macklin, and others all right there behind him as they're 3 wide for the lead, coming through 4.
Fuller got a good run through 1 and 2, was able to duck down, pull ahead, but it is some momentum for Wesley Donaldson. As he rolls across the stripe, he's going to lead lap number 14 to 91. WBD Diecast Customs Chevrolet out in front for the first time here tonight at Auto Club Speedway, as Justin Fuller has been committed to that bottom line, Sean. So far, he's making it work. Something right here in the top 3 since the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, absolutely. Donaldson again, as we were talking about a little while ago, the 91. I get the sense he feels like he's owed a really solid finish here. Trying to run up front here at Auto Club. This, I would say, over the last couple months, what I've learned about Donaldson is that he can make it work on almost any type of racetrack in that 91 car. It doesn't matter if it's a half mile, mile and a halfer, this big 2 mile sweeping track. He can make hay, as Kevin likes to put it. And right now, Donaldson out front over Justin Fuller. E.J. O'Rourke, remember, he has been riding that outside line, and I'm not quite sure what happened to the 41 there, but once he lost that clean air, he's actually fallen back behind Justin Fuller. He is sitting third, and the 84 Talking Giant Chevrolet hot on the heels, trying to gain another spot here. Looking further back, it looks like David Schildhouse. We've not talked about him too much tonight. He's only up 2 spots, sitting 11th. Kevin, this is a fight for the championship here that the 20 car is deep in, along with Tyler Dalton right behind him. It is a tough competition there at the top of the point standings here.
Yeah, running in that 11th position. Drivers know that they have to save a little fuel. Maybe it's going to be a few mileage race. They have to save a little tires. You can just run there in the draft. Just kind of pace yourself and then come on a little bit later. Really, it's the car 2 ahead of him that's been the jackrabbit in this field. The number 81 of Josh Parker. Where did he come from? He started 30th tonight. He's currently running in 9th underneath the 93 of Kevin DeBrown, and hunting that position is that 81 has a fast mount here tonight. Irish Spring Ford is on the charge.
Yeah, Josh Parker, another driver, I would say, likely feeling like he is owed one. We talked to that driver a couple times over the season, and I feel like he is trying, or he's starting to mature a little bit in that 81 car. We have seen him at times put it where it may not necessarily need to, at least early on. Other times, it's just a run of bad luck for Josh Parker. And right now, running 8th, having a solid night so far, needs the pit strategy and all of it to play his way. We'll take close attention to that 81 throughout the evening. Meanwhile, while we were talking about that, it was being cut up here right in front of him. Got really busy with Bentley Glaser, E.J. O'Rourke, Thomas George, and Jason Karlovaj. Kevin, everybody is just mixing and matching all over the place here.
Yeah, decent run here for the 36 of Bentley Glaser, hunting down there on the bottom, trying to get a good run up underneath E.J. O'Rourke. One thing we see about E.J. O'Rourke is short run speed, has a lot of it sometimes. Then in the long run, he drops off here as we're working lap number 18, still hanging in the top 5. So this racetrack suiting EJ quite well, is out behind the Bentley Glaser trying to make the run. Now he's under assault by a bunch of cars that have the draft. Here comes the 60 of Jason Karlovaj underneath. He's looking to go into that top 5.
Yeah, we have heard all throughout the season not only how aero-dependent this car is, Donaldson continues to lead out front, but even more importantly, the runs and managing the momentum in these machines. This Josh Parker looks like he had a bit of a big wiggle coming off of 2. He is able to keep it clean. He's going to merge back on track. That could have been disastrous for Parker. But all those positions that he gained, he's going to lose about 10 and cycle back in right in front of Chad Coleman running 17th. Back to my point, though, is that these cars, they can't really get away from one another. And once they're 3-4 back and they're in a bigger group, the likes of Schildhouse, Tyler Dalton even, he is struggling to make his way forward. He's in this big group of drivers, and everybody's pretty much everywhere, and finding a place to go where somebody isn't is tough. And Kevin, these next-gen cars, it takes a certain specific type of someone to be fast in these things week over week, it seems.
Yeah, this race has the opportunity to go all the way green. That's a characteristic of these racetracks. So maybe some of these drivers sitting out in the back part of the top 10 are just kind of pacing themselves and making sure that they save some tires. I was watching the 81 come off of turn 2 and turn 4 just the last couple laps. He was flat sideways, scraping the wall with sparks coming off of turn 2. And the car yawed and went out in turn 4. He's in trouble. Maybe he's got the tires heated up too much on that number 81, and He's currently running in the 20th position, just trying to get the tires reset and come back in and make another charge.
With everybody running all over the track here tonight, and really no single bad place to be on track. Again, it's all about driver preference and car handling. And so there really shouldn't see too much debris or marbles there as Justin Fuller looks underneath Wesley Donaldson. Fuller, no stranger to the front, and he is somebody that will tell you that he hates this car, and he uses the word hate there very strongly. But somehow he has got it figured out, and we've talked about it a couple times. The Shieldhouse really takes a big wiggle back there at 11th. He took a deep dive to the inside before saving it. But back to Fuller up here again. He's under pressure from Donaldson. He knows that for some reason he has got something figured out in this next-gen car that ultimately the 20 has not. And we've documented David Shieldhouse's summer slump. And it's going to be interesting to see what he can turn that into later on in the fall as the championship heats up as we wrap up the regular season. And out front, Donaldson continuing to just run a little bit of a higher line. Fuller back to the bottom. We saw a little bit of a flash of speed, and I think this is the second or third time we saw Fuller run really strong down here in 3 and 4, Kevin. This may be just Fuller's corner here tonight. He may be setting up shop and preparing for what could be a last couple lap run here to be there at the end.
Yeah, one of the things about Justin's line that is really beneficial for him is coming low off of turn number 4. He could use all the racetrack to come up to the fence. And then in that high line, in the slipstream up to 91, he can certainly get a good draft. I believe if he really wanted to, he could probably pull out and pass. But remember, we were talking about the potential for a few mileage race, and I wonder if he's just thinking, let the 91 stay out front, push all the air, and he can maybe even just breathe the throttle a little bit and save it. Most of the time, and we had a caution early here, drivers will look to say, well, maybe we could do this race on one set of tires, get to the halfway point, and not sure if that first caution played into that strategy and would cause Justin Fuller to want to just sit back there and second and save a little fuel, although every time he comes up off the corner and gets such a good run, it looks like he's just going to drive by for the lead. In fact, he draws alongside Wesley Donaldson here coming off the straightaway, but again, tucks in behind his taillights, and it is Wesley Donaldson leading since lap 14.
Yeah, strong run for Donaldson here tonight. We talked about that a couple times, but ultimately Fuller maybe sitting in the preferred seat. Let's take a look a little further back through the field here. The top 10 mostly unchanged to Tyler Dalton. Really, the most of the top 10 is single filed out, and I see that, and Glazer's going to make a liar out of me. Going to pull alongside Jason Karlovage, but outside of the corners, these drivers have mostly cycled through to a single flag cadence. Glazer now looking to the inside of Karlovage, who's on the inside of O'Rourke. He's going to fall back in line. Fuller looks like he did not get as near of a strong of a run off 2 there. And 84 of Anthony Calatoni, again, another driver, Kevin, who I would argue that feels like he's owed a really strong finish here. That 84 Talking Giants Chevrolet has worked himself up a spot, sitting in 3rd right now, and was able to get around EGR work early, but really hasn't made a whole lot of progress since.
Yeah, I think these drivers also know they can just kind of sit here and run. There's a lot of laps to go through. We're working lap 26, which is thereabouts the quarter mark of this race. No reason to get too excited. And I just look at the stack of the field to see who's running where. And one of the surprises I have is Chad Coleman in the 27th position, the Snap-on tool car coming out of turn number 2 as the leaders go through 3 and 4. Not sure what precipitated him being that far back. He's one looking for a caution, and I bet he would like to have 4 fresh Goodyears to reset.
Yeah, he's running around the back behind DeAndre Kane, Jason Pick, Mike Matesi, as we see Patrick Colby. He is backwards down the front stretch. A big spin for the 28 car. And I believe that is going to bring the second caution of the night out here at Auto Club. That is going to get everybody checked up and racked up behind the pace car. We'll talk about what this looks like for pit strategy here in just a moment. We're going to step aside. You're watching Turn 1. Getting ready to re-rack it here as they come to lap 32. The first pit stops complete here tonight, and we've got some movers and shakers. Justin Fuller on the front, but Kevin DeBrown, Donaldson has fallen back to third. Thomas George and Bentley Glaser, your top five. Your top five. Kevin, one of the biggest names I want to note here, that's Cody Harris in the 95. He's going to restart in that sixth place spot. 23 spots up on the night so far.
Yeah, Cody Harris again started from pit lane after missing qualifying, and they had to start from pit lane, and the cautions have benefited him. Certainly has a fast enough car. As we go back to green and note that your leader is Justin Fuller, started from the outside lane, chose the outside here for this restart, and heads off, and it has paid dividends. He's 2 car lengths out. Here comes the 93 of Kevin DeBrown looking for the lead.
Yeah, Kevin DeBrown got a huge run off into the corner there. I was impressed with that. Nearly got to that left rear quarter panel of Justin Fuller, and had he gotten there, that may have been a little bit of an exciting moment for both of them. They get it sorted out, though, as they roll off into 3 and 4. But boy, some drivers that don't have it sorted out is Jason Pick, Brian Macklin, Jose Gonzalez, and others, man. They were 4 wide on the entrance of 3. They got it figured out as everybody jockeying for position. These restarts are a great opportunity to make up time, make up spots, and everybody in the field's got new tires, so everybody's feeling pretty confident and comfortable in these next-gen machines as they work around turn 1 and 2. Justin Fuller leads down the backstretch on lap 33.
And I think one of the things these drivers try to figure out is, how do you get the car to roll through the corner and come up? You really want to be right at the outside fence, but not slide the nose to where you slap the fence on exit. You're really just trying to be in a 4-tire yaw, sliding up to the fence, and then the car is going to grab traction as you parallel out, and you'll make the best time there. And there's a bit of a science to it, and it fascinates me to watch the drivers accomplish that from the different lanes coming up off of turn 2. And when you get it wrong, that's where you see things like we saw earlier where the 44 spun. It is a tricky thing to do, and it is difficult every single lap. As the 93 of Kevin DeBrown, good run down the back straightaway. He's going to slide underneath 51 and take the lead here. Come back to 35. We'll see if Fuller can get back to him. I think he's going to tuck in his tire tracks here, and Kevin DeBrown's going to lead lap number 35.
Kevin DeBrown power move. He started that on the exit of turn 2 and just executed flawlessly there as Justin Fuller's going to dip down right to the bottom. It looks like DeBrown's going to take that easier O'Rourke line. Fuller's going to take the low line, but that's the problem there is, as long as they're even, Fuller cannot open up the wheel and get back up in line, and it is going to slow him down, and now he's in a little bit of trouble. It was Thomas George and Cody Harris caught up to the bumper. Harris is going to look deep to the right rear quarter panel, not going to be there this time, but those two, they've smelled maybe a little bit of opportunity coming up, and to take that second place spot away here as we're looking through the field. Everybody's starting to get it sorted out. Kevin, thinking from a pit strategy standpoint, and I don't truly know the answer to this. Everybody coming down pit road here around lap 30. This could get really interesting on the one-stop opportunities for some of these drivers if they can't make it the whole way, as we got cars spinning back in the rear of the field.
Yeah, Kevin Stone, hard hit to the inside wall. He's going to be able to drive away, and the Ingersoll ran forward, but not after sustaining pretty significant damage. Other car involved over there, I believe that's the 23.
It is. That's Joe Hudson. He also has some significant right front damage. That car looks like it's askew all the way around. Likely some significant suspension damage there for Joe Hudson. Under caution here once again, lap number 37. This will shake up some pit strategy as well. Kevin DeBrown scored your leader. Justin Fuller, Cody Harris, your top 3. We'll step aside. You're watching Turn 1. Back live here at Auto Club, and during that caution, we've got a little bit of, as we talked about, the pit strategy going to be a factor. Well, the 51 of Justin Fuller. He came down pit road, Kevin, for a splash of gas. Maybe something the 51's cooking up there. A little off strategy for that Cooks Landscape Group Ford.
Yeah, and again, we talked about the potential for a pit strategy race, and for Justin Fuller, I think he thought a fuel tank full. He didn't take any tires, just fuel only, and he gave up all that track position as Kevin DeBrown takes the green flag and they go through the start-finish line here. One thing to note here, look in the bottom line about the third car back. Fresh set of tires at a restart, and he's been charging through the field. Josh Parker back in the picture one more time.
Yeah, back up to 7th. Parker comes. That's a nice recovery for him as he's going to be jammed up back here behind Macklin, and Jose Gonzalez just really nowhere to go there. He's going to have to follow the line. You see him having to check up a little bit. Meanwhile, somebody that's not having to check up, that's DeBrown. He is out front. Nearly 3/10 over Thomas George, but Cody Harris is sniffing on the outside. Side by side, DeBrown's moving down, trying to break that draft as everybody trying to follow the tire tracks of the leader. And again, we talk about how aero-dependent these cars can be, not only in momentum, but the draft. And boy, they really got the run there with DeBrown under a little bit of pressure from the 6 of Thomas George. And by the way, I mentioned the 51. You see him already back in the picture there. Justin Fuller, after this pit stop, running back up to 18th spot, gained four positions here in the last lap and a half. And by the way, he's not in a Ford, he's in a Toyota. That Cooks Landscape Group Toyota running pretty strong here tonight, and some pit strategy on Fuller's mind as they're racing in here across the stripe to take lap 42.
Yeah, right now, 42 laps in, drivers are just kind of pacing themselves. What do they need? How did the first couple stints go? What do they need to change? As we see the 93 get a little slip coming up out of the corner, that brings the 95 to his back bumper. And the question is, does Cody Harris have something here that he can muster in turn 3 to challenge for the lead? In fact, dives low after picking up the draft, going down the straightaway. He's one lane up, running the seam as he rolls out of turn number 4. A lot of times what you'll see is the cars up on the top get stacked together, and that top line will be the one that moves through, but it is Harris leading that lap. Now I think he's going to get overtaken by events. Here is the 30 of Macklin pushing DeBrown on the high side, although Harris is hanging tough down there on the bottom.
Yeah, Brian Macklin, if he didn't touch the wall, he felt the static off of it as he come out of turn 2. I think he had quite a bit of a run off the draft there behind Kevin DeBrown and didn't quite have enough grip to hang on to it. And then he got off the throttle and got a little tight. Nonetheless, he is hanging tough here right behind DeBrown. Whoa! What a move by Gonzalez. Come flying through there on the exit of 2. I don't know where Gonzalez found the speed. He has found the afterburner in that 26 machine as he has moved up to 3rd. But Cody Harris out front now, new leader, starting out on pit road, elected to not qualify, and running that P1 spot clean air. Cody Harris, man, has been so impressive. I call it raw talent in Harris, Kevin. He knows how to manage the car, and he knows how to put a race together. And I'm surprised we have not seen him in victory lane more often this season.
Yeah, I mean, Cody Harris has raw speed. He's our Carson Hocevar, if you want to call him that. He's fast just about every week. He just needs to get the execution and the mistakes down. As one car I was watching, the Lundforce Toyota of Brian Macklin, that car looks rather loose. We saw it sideways up off of turn 4, got into the outside wall. We saw the sparks coming off the right side of that car. And just wonder if after these restarts, if they push a little too hard, Sean, could it use that right side tire up, heat it up a little bit, and then your car is not going to handle. We know that Macklin's hunting that high side. Sometimes when the car gets right side tires a little too hot, you do go to the high side to let them cool off a little bit, as we have a challenge for the lead up front. I do believe that Kevin DeBrown led that lap as he went across the stripe.
Back across that high side, gaining the momentum he needs to keep the RPM in the car, and that RPM translates to speed even if he's taking the long way around. One thing that Cody Harris has done, well, I was going to say one thing Cody Harris has done that Justin Fuller really couldn't execute on is running that bottom line and then driving by the driver in the top line. Well, not that time. DeBrown stayed on that high line, and it seems to complement the 1 and 2. But 3 and 4 here has been tough for everybody tonight, especially on exit on that high line. It's going to be a drag race as they come back to the stripe. DeBrown's going to lead it, but Jose Gonzalez knocking on the door here. He is looking for any opportunity one of these drivers are willing to give up as Cody Harris is going to move up in front of the 93. Here comes the 26 of Jose Gonzalez. And by the way, there is Josh Parker. He has worked his way back up to the top 4. We've talked about that speed in the 81. He's another driver that needs to execute well here and put a full run together. And so far, not looking too bad up 26 spots running 4th.
Yeah, like the 95, the 81 has been extremely fast. He's almost a unicorn in his speed to be able to drive through the field, but just an abysmal season for Josh Parker in the context of crashes and difficulties through the season. He's been fast. He's charged through the field, but he doesn't have much to show for that speed. If he could get the car on solid footing, I think you would see this 81 top 3 and win a bunch of races. Is right now he's in that low line. They're stacked up. On the outside is the 26 of Jose Gonzalez. Squirts down there, and he's really trying to get this run and see if he could slide up in front of the 95. He's been so close coming up out of turn 4, not able to do it this time, as it's going to be Cody Harris leading him back for lap number 49.
Kevin, I think you were absolutely onto something in what these drivers are doing in that high line versus the low line, and what it's doing especially to that right rear Goodyear on these next-gen cars. Obviously, coming off the corner and on that low line, you've got a lot of wheel into it. You're trying to spin it up and get back into the throttle and mat it as best as you and as quick as you possibly can as everybody's jockeying around, dealing with the bumps here coming out of 2. And ultimately, that bottom line is going to heat up the right side tires way more than that outside line. And as Gonzalez again is going to look underneath Harris, it looks like that outside line complements 1 and 2 well, while the bottom of down 3 and 4 is the way to go. Wondered if we're going to see a driver elect to mix up the different ends of the racetrack here before it's all said and done.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the driver who's mixed it up is 51 of Justin Fuller. Everybody's kind of in that grade up on the top line, and Fuller, even in yaw, riding sideways through, has maintained. Speaking of Fuller, he tags the 91 after getting a bump coming up out of the corner, and Wesley Donaldson's in the grass over there in turn number 3.
That's going to bring the caution out once again, and that is an unfortunate incident involving Justin Fuller and the 91 of Donaldson. Donaldson back there. He was having a really strong night, has led some laps here, but the 91 with some damage here going to bring the caution out once again at Auto Club. Cody Harris leads. We're going to step aside. You're watching Turn 1. Pace car lights are off. They're getting the re-rack it one more time here at Auto Club. Cody Harris, Kevin DeBrown, Josh Parker, Brian Macklin, Jose Gonzalez, your top 5. Everybody came down pit road for service and ready to roll again here. I suspect these drivers are looking for a good bit of grip, and they want to keep as much fuel in the car as they can. Keep the weight down on the car. Green flag back out. Significant handling challenge looking like it's coming to fruition here today at Auto Club. DeBrown out front, able to get clear of Cody Harris, and Josh Parker now looking underneath the 95. It may be a 3-wide battle for the lead as they head down into 3.
Yeah, this is a replay of what we saw before. 93 was able to duck underneath, get a good run up out of 2. Harris was able to drive low on entry to turn 3 and cover the moment here. He'll pull down low, but I don't know that this time he's going to beat the 93 back to the stripe. It's a dead heat, and I have to say, I think the 93 led that one. It was a photo finish. It was the last lap as here comes Harris again down on the bottom trying to make hay. I think he's going to get there this time up off the corner. He's got such a good run. Harris is out front going down the back straightaway.
Yeah, that put DeBrown on the defensive. He actually looks like he got tight off of 2. Couldn't get back to the throttle, maybe overdrove the middle of the corner a little bit. That actually allowed Cody Harris to squeeze by, but then DeBrown, he's going to move up, block the run, and going to get put into the wall. That's going to collect Cody Harris. He's sideways. Big incident, fighting for the lead here at Auto Club, and Josh Parker's going to capitalize. Scored your leader under caution, and that is going to be a rough way to potentially end the night here for Cody Harris. It also looks like Donaldson somehow got collected in this mayhem as well. Yeah, wow, what a turn of events. And then the 13 of Comstock's also sideways across the track. Kevin, that was a rough fight there, and it ultimately looked like DeBrown and Cody Harris just were trying to fight for the same real estate.
Yeah, I think that DeBrown slid up and did a slide job, and like a slide job going bad in a sprint car race, somebody wasn't willing to yield. He got tapped from the back, and I believe the 95 checked up, and he got clunked in the back. That's what turned him sideways. And what's amazing is he was 90 degrees to the field as they slid through, and nobody else tagged him. He took that first hit and then just slid to a stop down there on the apron. It could have been much worse. And well, here comes the 81 to pit road, and this is going to shake everything up here.
It certainly will. They're running. This is lap 56 here under caution, and Parker's going to come to the service of his crew. And yeah, we're past halfway. You technically, I do believe from a fuel run perspective, can make it the whole way from here on out if you really wanted to. It's all about tires and handling of the car. We'll see how that all shakes out. Brian Macklin scored your leader. Kevin DeBrown, David Schildhouse, Jose Gonzalez, your top 4. We're going to step aside. You're watching Turn 1. DeBrown, Macklin, Gonzalez, Schildhouse, O'Rourke, your top 5 as these drivers coming to the stripe to take lap 59. It is, oh goodness, what'll be 42 laps to the very end of this thing here tonight at Auto Club for the Sim 500 Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series right here on Turn 1. I'm Sean Fitz. That's Kevin England alongside, and we're back green flag. Macklin able to capitalize there and jump out to the lead. But here comes the 20 of David Schildhouse. What a decent recovery here for the 20 car of Schildhouse, up 10 spots on the night, Kevin. I don't know if we're done hearing from him.
Yeah, certainly the first time we've seen him break into the top 5 and be a factor in this race. He's been kind of quiet all night long, just keeping his nose clean. Great restart for the 30 of Brian Macklin. As soon as they hit the restart zone, he was off, and sometimes I wonder if that's a good way to go because everybody collects that draft behind him and gets such a good run. But here we come back to the stripe to complete lap 59, now working lap 60, and it's Brian Macklin out front being charged by Kevin DeBrown on the high side.
It looks like Schildhouse is going to move up a little bit, trying to take the air off the 41 of O'Rourke. If not, he definitely did a good job of it. Here comes Gonzalez deep to the inside of O'Rourke, side by side off of 2. And we're starting to see that same replay, that same motion through the field as these drivers get bottled up behind the top 3, top 4 cars, get separated, but everybody else nowhere really to go as Schildhouse is up to the high side. O'Rourke charged ahead here, and now he's looking back to the rear bumper of Kevin DeBrown as they are side by side back there for that's 8th place. It's Thomas George, Bentley Glazer, Chad Coleman in the mix. And Kevin, not long ago, we were talking about Chad Coleman not running well. I think he was in 26th position. Well, he's in the top 10 now.
Yeah, I mean, this field has flip-flopped quite a bit, and one driver that's out in the back in 18th position right now is Justin Fuller. We wonder what his situation is right in front of him. Gerald Livingston, the Canadian driver, running, having a good run here at California as he watches the 51 go streaking by down on the bottom. Livingston could hook a tow rope to that 51 and go to the front. That would be a lot of fun for him. Is now we'll see whether or not Justin Fuller can make the charge here and get himself a victory. It looks like he's deep gas here while he's running outside the top 15.
One of the things we've asked Justin Fuller is, hey, what are you doing that everybody else isn't? And he will say, doing everything that nobody else is. And we've seen him actually make that come to fruition here tonight. He's raced his way through the field twice. He's come down pit road for fuel only when nobody else has come. So just really, sometimes it's all about just flipping the strategy on your opponents and capitalizing. And Fuller right now is on the back end of that curve. He's back here fighting Charles Woods for that 16th spot. Side by side there as they come across the stripe. Back up front, though, it's a dead heat. A drag race down the front stretches to Brown and Macklin, heading off into 1 and 2. Free and clear, no issues here. They're keeping it clean, plenty of space. And Kevin, I see the Brown, we've seen him run fairly tight underneath everybody else, but about a car width here off of Macklin. Maybe he's starting to learn a little bit more about that side draft, maybe making the car a little more uncomfortable.
Yeah, these drivers know that you can follow in the slipstream, but if you want to pull somebody back, you pull over to the door and get right on that quarter panel. The air coming off the nose of your car dumps to the side of the car next to you and hits that spoiler and drags him back. And Kevin Brown, every once in a while, I think, could use that to his advantage. But again, we're working lap 64. We've got 38 to go, and I have to wonder if some of these drivers are looking to save a little bit of fuel as the Brown squirts out sideways. We see cars come off of turn 2 sideways in yaws, we call it, just about every lap. The other, about 3 or 4 laps ago, Randy Yoakum turned the nose to the fans in the campers down there and somehow yanked the thing back to the right and was able to drive it out. As you know, make no mistake, it may look like a Sunday drive for these guys, but they have their hands full coming up off the corner for sure.
Speaking of a handful, and these drivers certainly are experiencing it, let's take a look back here. Anthony Calatoni in that 84. Let's ride on board with Calatoni. And as he takes a lap here down the backstretch and off into turn 3 and 4. Kevin, these bumps are no joke as they roll off into the corner here.
You can see he eases out of the throttle. He's just kind of barely touching the throttle, looking for when he can pick it back up. And he doesn't slam the gas back down. He just gently squeezes it back in. And he's got the draft here, so he should see the car go all the way to the full end of the RPM spectrum. He's going to do plus 200 miles an hour here at the end of the straightaway on a good run. And right now, these drivers running the Kyle Larson line up there way up high. Or who might be the person who's the ace at running the high side here? Tyler Reddick kind of night here, as these drivers have found that later on in this race, it seems like the high side over in turn 1 and 2 is the place to be.
Certainly, it definitely comes across that way. We've seen it happen multiple times here as O'Rourke's going to look underneath David Schildhouse for this position. They're side by side as they come out of 4, and Schildhouse now starting to show those flashes. The children over there watching this race live, I'm sure we're really amped up to see him go out there and way up against the wall. When we rode on board there with Calatoni, you heard that very careful input on the throttle, and man, I tell you what, it is a balancing act of speed, grip, and having the room on the racetrack, and plus the draft. A lot of components makes a little bit of a wall contact there that was DeBrown. But all those components make Sim 500 special. You have drivers like E.J. O'Rourke, David Schildhouse, DeBrown, Dalton, Calatoni, Donaldson, each and every week out here performing at a high caliber. And it's always impressive to watch any series the Sim 500 group runs.
Yeah, it amazes me if we watch that 20 car come off of turn 2 about 10 car lengths back, the run that they get down the straightaway. He was within 1 car length of the 30 cars they entered into turn number 3. Now again, he is up high, and I'm not sure if that car is handling to his liking. It almost looks like he has a little bit of a push. The car goes in the corner, doesn't seem to want to turn for David. He's just kind of hanging up there, waiting for the car to be able to rotate so he can pick up the throttle. And I don't know. You see these drivers off the bottom, they're driving really well as the 30 is able to run it. What an amazing run they get. Here he comes down the back straightaway with a head of steam. He's going to get to that back bumper, but he did not opt to yank it left and try to execute the pass. David Schildhouse is comfortable with the high side here at Auto Club.
I truly think this is a game of RPM in the car. He's all the way up high. He's running above that last seam up there at the top. And man, I tell you, it looks like he is on rails. You don't typically diamond off this type of racetrack, but he's doing that at the higher level there at that top line. And I think you're onto something, Kevin. Now you see Macklin move up there. So did O'Rourke to Brown this last time by. There must be some magic in keeping the RPM up in the car, and you're going to see it here as he likely runs back down, at least gets a little closer, within a car length or two of Macklin's rear bumper, heading off into 3. Meanwhile, a nice recovery out of the 91 of Wesley Donaldson. He's been sideways more times than he probably cares to admit here so far here tonight, but has recovered back up to 9th. He's so not a bad recovery, all things considered. Another driver who is knocking on the door of that top 10 again is Justin Fuller. We've talked about him many times this evening, and right now he is sitting back in that 11th place spot, just on cruise control and hanging out here, looking to take advantage of any opportunities he can out the windshield. Finally, another great story here tonight is that of the 4. That is Mike Montesi, looking pretty strong off the nose of Cody Harris there. He is up 19 spots on the night. Not a name we mention too often up in the top 10, Kevin. He's making that number 4 car sing here at Auto Club.
Yeah, Montesi's made some selective starts here in the season, and when he shows up, there are times when he's fast, famous Bobby Wetzel and a couple of the others who are here on a weekly basis, and good to see Mike have a strong run here in the top 15. Is looking out his windshield right in front of him, we were talking about Justin Fuller. One thing I noticed about Justin is he's joined the parade. Now, as soon as I say that, he dives low down here in 3 and 4. I guess when you got to make a pass, you got to go where they aren't. But for the last handful of laps, he's been running the high side the same as everybody else. Now he draws alongside the 38. When the cars sweep down at the start-finish line to try and break the draft, that helps some of those cars out in the back develop a little inertia. And here we see the 51 going back downstairs to his line where he was first half of this race.
I think we just missed a colossal save out of Brian Macklin, and you're seeing that here. He had that car all askew coming through turn 1. He is going to lose a ton of spots here. Schildhouse is going to get by EJ O'Rourke. DeBrown's going to try to make up that opportunity. That was an impressive right rear slide out of the 30 of Macklin, and he's going to lose 6 spots on that error coming out of 1. And we are officially 28 laps to go here tonight at Auto Club for the Sim 500 Cook Landscape Group Cup Series. We've seen a bunch of folks on the point, but it's Brian Macklin in the 41 back up there as DeBrown's going to move up in front of Schildhouse. That is going to check up Schildhouse. He looks like he made right side contact with that outside wall.
Yeah, we just have to take a moment to recognize who's up there in front. Where did EJ O'Rourke come from? Up to lead this race in the units, number 41. Just got his zipped underneath, quietly pulled up, and he now leads. And he loves to see that in the back of you when they're running side by side. That's a great view because when they run side by side, they're slowing each other up. They're not going to run you down. Right now, he has a 4-car length advantage as they head through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, absolutely looking strong here in the 41. One thing I noticed, he went all the way down to the bottom grooves there, down the front stretch. Everybody else stayed high, so he is breaking that draft. DeBrown not able to gain any momentum. So not only the racing happening alongside the 2nd, 3rd, 4th place runs, for the first time tonight, we're seeing EJ O'Rourke or any leader start to break away. Now 4/10 starting to grow as they come across the stripe here to 27 to go. DeBrown back up here. I'm surprised in this. I would have thought him, that incident he had with Cody Harris, that would have maybe put some damage on that car, but so far he has that, he came down pit road, got that cleaned up, And back up and running in the top three. David Schildhouse is back here. Brian Macklin is also on a pursuit for those positions he had to give up a couple laps ago. He's looking underneath Anthony Calatoni as they roll off into 3.
Yeah, Macklin got a good run out of turn number 2. A little slip by Calatoni opened up the door for him to slot into that position. He gently slides in front and picks up that 5th position as there's a battle for second place right now. David Schildhouse wants it. Kevin DeBrown wants to keep it, and they are side by side through. And the two of these cars are almost kind of struggling to run down your leader here as they continue to battle side by side. EJ O'Rourke has built one of the biggest leads we've seen all night long.
He absolutely has. Coming down the backstretch, he did his best to break that draft. Schildhouse was alongside Kevin DeBrown, and he felt the need. It made way more sense to go down and chase the leader. Didn't really give him but about a half a car length advantage. But now DeBrown's going to power back on the outside. The 20 maybe looking to take advantage of any type of draft, any advantage he can. He's stuck on the bottom there, and not a real big gap to fall in behind DeBrown. Once you're there, you've pretty much got to take it as, wow, he sends it hard off into 1 and 2. He's going to slide up. It looks like he's going to hang on to it. I think that was something that Schildhouse was looking to accomplish there for the last couple laps and finally just made the effort. So David Schildhouse back up to P2. Meanwhile, EJ O'Rourke out front by half a second. Again, the biggest lead we've seen so far here tonight as he heads down to the bottom of the track, and most of the rest of the crew there are going to stay up on the high side, down 3 and 4.
Yeah, Schildhouse looked like a 410 sprinter coming out of the second corner of Eldora over there in turn number 2, but now that he's free of that battle with Kevin DeBrown, he's starting to run down the 41 of EJ O'Rourke. As O'Rourke, your 11th different leader here tonight. We're working lap number 79, 23 laps to go. O'Rourke out front, Schildhouse in second. Galton has a good recovery. He's trying to chase Kevin DeBrown for third as Dalton in fourth. Wesley Donaldson back to 5th. Where is the 51 of Justin Fuller? He's made his way to 10th, just slowly clawing his way forward.
He certainly is. Fuller, he actually had his nose there around Tyler Dalton. It got chaotic and he backed out. That shows you the speed that the 51 feels like he has tonight. He can just back out of it, let him sort of back out. He can take another stab at it as the laps continue to wind down. I want to go back to the story of the 20 machine running up high there as O'Rourke gets loose off of 2. And he's going to have to give that spot up to Schildhouse. But David, after got around to Brown, went right back to that very outside line, above the seam, right there against the wall, and he made up what was looked like about 2.5 tenths down the backstretch in 1 lap to catch O'Rourke. And what an impressive run, that 20 car. When he isn't marred back in traffic, that outside line just looks like it is unbelievably fast. Consistent lap over lap here tonight for the 20 of David Schildhouse, who's currently leading up 12 spots on the night. And another driver in a tight points battle, just looking to have a solid finish here tonight. Looking back through the field, we talked about Justin Fuller just a minute ago. He was up there fighting for 6th. He slid all the way back to 11th. And Cody Harris just off the rear view there for Fuller. I tell you what, we're going to have to keep a close eye on this 51. I don't think we're done seeing him towards the front of the pack. He has the speed, like this just comfort in that car to be able to just back out of situations because he knows he has time, he knows he has speed. And typically when you feel comfortable backing out, we've got a car on the wall. That's O'Rourke and Kevin DeBrown backwards on the track. Looks like Brian Macklin also involved there.
As, that was a big incident. I was watching the 4 car. Mike Montesi got sideways, slid up, slammed the wall out of turn 2. And while that was going on, these cars got together coming out of turn 2 on the entry to the back straightaway, and that took out a bunch of our front runners.
It did. I showed DeBrown involved in that. Brian Macklin, he towed to the pits. That's going to be an unfortunate end to his night there. EJ O'Rourke is a significant amount of damage. So a lot of front runners potentially affected here in an incident under caution. And wow, we're only going to have about 16 laps to go when they go back green flag racing. It could be anybody's race, and I don't think we're done with the pit strategy. David Shieldhouse, Wesley Donaldson, Tyler Dalton, your top three. We're going to step aside. You're watching Turn 1. Back live here at Auto Club, getting ready to go back green flag racing. It's going to be 16 laps to go here for the Sim 500 Cup Series on Turn 1, and Jose Gonzalez playing the pit strategy, brought the whole field down, and he elected to take 2 tires only. Wesley Donaldson was only in the box 5 seconds. A lot of different strategies at play here. So this is going to shake some things loose. So it's going to be Gonzalez, Donaldson, Coleman, Calatoni, and Fuller, your top 5. Kevin, I think we're going to see a very fun next 16 laps here at Auto Club.
Yeah, look at the front end of that 26. It's caved in. That's got to be collecting the air. I don't know that Metz number 26 is going to be able to hold out front here, but we'll see as he's going to be able to call the restart. 26 is your leader with 85 laps in the books. And Gonzalez gets a good start here, crosses the start-finish line with everybody else in tow. And it is side-by-side. Tony to second right now underneath the 91 in Karlovaj, who's trying to claw to track position all night long. He had a great save in that incident where the 41 got sideways and caused the caution, the 6th caution of the night. And now Karlovaj sitting there in that 4th position. Well, you know what? There goes Justin Fuller streaking to the outside in the Cook's Landscape number 51.
Yeah, I was about to say that 51 pulled a David Shieldhouse out of 1 and 2. Everybody was down low, trying to scrap for a little bit of that position. Fuller said, watch this, and took it to the high line, picked up 3 spots. He has worked his way up back into the top 4. While Jose Gonzalez, I think, as you mentioned, Kevin, that front end damage, it's been there for a good better part of half the race, and I suspect that is going to slow him down more than it's going to help him. But it is a huge gaggle of cars back here behind him, 2, 3, 4 wide as they came out of 2. Cody Harris is going to look underneath Bentley Glacier. Man, deep dive down there. Shieldhouse is not going to be happy with that. He's going to get squeezed up a little bit right to the right rear, and he's going to shut the door. Glazer's going to pull the move there that I think Harris tried to. And wow, tight racing here as they come across the stripe, 14 to go.
Yeah, I'm impressed with Gonzalez, able to hold that car out front. He's been able to put it in clean air and just drive it up off the corner and get the momentum. As we saw a lot of speed out of that 95 before, but right now it just seems like he's trapped in that dirty air and unable to move through as drivers swinging and jockeying for position on the entry to the corner, trying to get the optimal arc in so that they can carry the speed to the front straightaway.
Yeah, that was Jason Karlovaj and Chad Coleman nearly making contact there coming out of 2. That could have been disastrous, but they were able to keep it off one another. Meanwhile, Gonzalez is going to lead another lap here, and that front damage, it has got to be acting like a dam of air. And what's interesting is nobody's been able to get up there to challenge with him, but Justin Fuller, he puts it to the high side, pulls off a huge run off of 2. We're going to have a challenge here. Here comes Fuller to the inside of Gonzalez.
Yeah, he was just flat out sideways coming up off the corner, standing on the throttle coming up out of 2. And Gonzalez didn't really stand a chance as Justin Fuller goes back out front, comes back to the stripe to lead lap 89. It's been since lap 35 when we saw Fuller out front. He's back out front one more time as laps are ticking off. We've got 12 to go here at Auto Club.
Justin Fuller back to the high line. He's going to move up there, trying to keep the RPM in the car. Meanwhile, Calatoni is going to have to figure out what he can do, what he needs to do to get by the 26. Oh, he got squeezed there. I believe that was Shieldhouse looking to the left rear. He is going to take it down to the bottom of 3 and 4 now. And Calatoni is, if he wants to make any opportunity on Fuller, as Shieldhouse now is going to drive underneath him. What a powerful run out of David Shieldhouse. Drove by Anthony Calatoni like he was standing still, and his mama owed him some money there off of 4. That was an impressive build of momentum there out of the 20.
A good run for the 36 here, making a late race charge. It's Bentley Glazier coming down into that 3rd position. He's going to slide up and take that as their 3 wide behind him. The 60 of Karlovaj makes contact with the 28. Calantoni sliding down through the infield. And both of them, I think, well, back of the Giants car bumped the wall, but Gonzalez going to grab a thing. I don't know that this is going to draw a caution. They were so far off the racetrack that the two of them carry on, and we remain green here at Auto Club.
That is going to shake up that where there's a big group of cars there that were jockeying all in that top 8 spots. And that really spread things out. And that may be the break that Justin Fuller needs here as they come to down out of 2, working 10 to go. He is going to take it to the inside. He's going to try to break the draft off of Shieldhouse. Cody Harris is also the benefactor of that incident. He was able to gain a couple spots. He's back into the top 5, looking underneath Karlovaj in 3 and 4. And the 95 saying he's not done running for a strong finish here tonight. But it is all about the snake action to try to stay behind the draft and in the draft of the 51. David Shieldhouse, Bentley Glaser trying to do anything they can to get caught up to the rear bumper cover of Justin Fuller. Shieldhouse back to that high line up there, Kevin. He is maybe he's starting to build that momentum up. We've seen him do that a couple times here tonight as they continue to weave back and forth down the backstretch.
Yeah, and you could tell Fuller's looking in the rearview mirror to see who's behind him and breaking that draft as he weaves down. It almost looks like an IndyCar move, is trying to break the draft and keep the 20 at bay. And I got to give a nod over here to the 7th place driver right now, the York Falcons Chevrolet of Randy Yoakum. He was waving at the infield just about 10-15 laps ago. Here he is sitting in the top 10. And in the back half of this top 10, I love the names. Troy Haight currently running in the 9th position. It's Charles Woods in the Purple Heart Homes Camaro running in 10th.
All really solid runs for those drivers. With Woods, he's up 14. Randy Yoakum, he's up 18. Jason Karlovaj up 10. Cody Harris up 24. David Shieldhouse up 11. And basically, the entire field essentially flipped since the start of this thing. And meanwhile, we come back up front, and Shieldhouse is caught up to Justin Fuller. This is going to be very interesting to see how they navigate around the 51. He's going to dive to the inside. Cody Harris was also in this mix right alongside Bentley Glaser as they work through 1 and 2. Shieldhouse diving to the bottom, looking to try to drive off the corner, get some speed in it, but as we've seen time and time again, crossed over in front of Cody Harris, nearly disastrous down the backstretch for Cody Harris and David Shieldhouse.
I'll tell you, Shieldhouse was just about pushing Fuller down the front straightaway and then dived low to see if he could get the momentum, but the 51 was wound up and able to carry that speed through turn 1 and 2. Used it to his advantage, and I really thought those two were going to make contact. Typically, Shieldhouse has a spotter in Briar LaPrade helping him out, and Briar must have been calling go, go, go to that top line, coming down that back straightaway to get in front of the 95, because that was as tight as you could get. I don't know if you could have put a piece of paper between their bumpers.
We've got a car off, and that's Tyler Dalton. He's backwards.
Oh, no.
Tyler Dalton in the 19 comes to a stop on the infield there. See if this will draw the caution. I do believe this will.
It's hard to say because he was sideways right next to everybody else, and he just flat lost it on his own.
He did, as the field's going to check up. We're going to be under caution here and go back to Green Flag Racing. This very well could take us into NASCAR overtime. We'll talk about that and what it means for this group as they go back Green Flag Racing Green Flag Racing once this pace car gets them collected back up. We're going to step aside. You're watching Turn 1. Justin Fuller, David Shieldhouse, Bentley Glaser, Cody Harris, Randy Yoakum, your top 5 as they get ready to re-rack it. Fuller's going to take the high line for the first attempt of a green-white checkered finish. That means if they come to the green here and they make it all the way back around to the white flag, the next flag, the checkered flag, will be the finish of this. If for whatever reason they don't make it back around to the white flag, they'll return back and re-rack it, attempt to finish this under green one more time. The pace car is going to head down pit road. What does the 20 of David Shieldhouse got for Justin Fuller as they head down into one? The green flag is out. We're overtime racing for the Sim 500 Cooks Landscape Group.
You could hear the thrum of the motors as these drivers anticipated that start, and it was an outstanding start for Justin Fuller as he got away. And not only did that help him, Bentley Glazier slipped into second as Shieldhouse did not get a good restart. Now the question is, can the 36 Roland Camaro track down the 51? And everybody out back, we're not sure if we're going to make it back, is trying to get whatever positions they can as this race comes to a close.
It worked out in 3 and 4 here. Fuller, Glacier, Shieldhouse, your top three. The 20 did not have a great restart. He got the car spun up pretty hard, lost a bunch of spots. Either way, Justin Fuller, he's going to come across the stripe and see the white flag one more time around for the 51 of Justin Fuller. It has been an up and down night. Bentley Glacier is going to dig down to the very bottom. Not going to be able to do anything, at least on corner exit. He's going to set it up for one more shot at it down in 3 and 4. Shieldhouse is not going to be a factor here. Down to the bottom he goes. Fuller, Glacier up to the high line. He's going to have the speed, but can he get to the back bumper? Justin Fuller recovered, looked a masterclass of Auto Club as Glacier looks down below. He's not going to have anything for him. Justin Fuller is going to be your victor here tonight at Auto Club.
What an outstanding run for Fuller. He just textbook off of turn 4, went down to the shortest route to get to the start-finish line. Bentley Glazier got there. He was alongside the number and almost to the front wheel. Had it been just a click later, the start-finish line a little bit further down the track, Glazier might have been able to get this win. Is a little celebration here for the victory. Is outstanding run for Bentley Glazier. I don't know that there was anything else he could have done, Sean, other than be a little closer as celebratory bumps go to your leader as they go around. But how about it? Hats off to Justin Fuller. We counted him out here as he was running back in the second half of the top 10 at one point in this race, and he just methodically worked his way forward. And this is going to set the field for the championship. We'll look at the points next week as we go in, as 20 drivers move into the round 1. We have closed the regular season, and it comes with a victory from Justin Fuller in the Cooks Landscape Toyota.
Justin's going to burn it down here on the front stretch. A great run for Bentley Glacier. David Shieldhouse, your top three. Then it's Cody Harris, Randy Oakham, Wesley Donaldson, Troy Haight finished 7th. Jason Karlovash, Ron Holyfield, and Thomas George, your top 10. What a great night here at Auto Club. We're going to call it a wrap right there. That's Kevin England. I'm Sean Fitz. We appreciate you being here. We'll see you for more racing action on Turn 1, both Sunday and Monday nights for the Sim 500 group. Have a great night, everybody. Bye-bye.